Hey everybody, how are y'all doing today? This is Kim and I am so happy to welcome you to the Maker's Studio page. Normally I am crafting over on Salvaged Living, which is my blog and Facebook page and Instagram page, and doing easy DIY and home decor for Life and Home Redeemed. You're always welcome to join me over there as well, but I am excited to be joining you here and bringing you a really fun craft, I think. I don't know if you even call it a craft, but anyway, it's a great way to use these Maker Studio stencils. So I hope this gives you some fun ideas to just make your home beautiful, and it's really easy and simple. So I'm kind of sitting in a weird spot. This is my back door that goes into my backyard, and it's a glass insert door. I actually hung a sheet behind the window so that you would be able to see the glass and not be distracted by what's behind it, because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, but I will take that off at the end and make sure and show you some pictures of what this looks like finished. But one of the fun ways to use these stencils is on glass and mirrors and windows and things like that. So I want to show you the products that I'm going to be using today, because they're super cute and they're going to be really fun for you to try. We're going to use this XO stencil. It's a big stencil, so it's a lot of fun. And it's a mesh stencil in case you've never used them. This inside is a tiny mesh, gives you a lot of crisp, clean detail when you're doing stenciling that you cannot get otherwise. And it makes you able to stencil on a slick surface like glass, because normally if you were to use a regular stencil, it won't come out crisp and clean. You have a lot of bleeding with your paint and stuff like that. So this is the perfect application to use these type of stencils. And I'm going to use a little squeegee. These are great squeegees that you can get from Maker Studio. I suggest having a good wide array of those. And then this is called ChalkArt, and this color specifically is Curbside Shopper, which is what I am. Love it. It's a fun pink color. We're going to do a little bit of Valentine's Day love here, but you could do this with any stencil, with any color, any holiday, every day, whatever you want to. The cool thing about ChalkArt is that it's washable. So if you put it on something like glass, you can leave it for a little while and you can wipe it off and clean it and redo it with something different. It's not a permanent paint. So it is different than using a permanent paint. And the thing about glass is most of the time you can scrape paint off of glass anyway, but this is the perfect paint to do this project with. So let's get started. I'll give you some other ideas as we go. But we're going to go ahead and open this cute XOXO stencil. And I wanted to let you know that we're going to have a fun giveaway for you guys today. So Maker Studio is always so generous and wants to give one lucky person one of these XO stencils. And you can try this or a wide variety of crafts with it. You're going to want to invite a friend. So I know you know somebody who loves to craft, decorate their home. Just tag 3 of your friends in the comments below and let them know that we are crafting together. Let them come join us, invite them to come join us, and that's going to be how you'll enter to win one of these stencils. So I want to know if you've ever done this before, if this is a new application for these stencils for you, or how you might use this stencil. I always think it's fun for everybody to kind of throw their ideas, because we're all creative here. You guys are so creative. And when you put your ideas in the comments, anybody who watches this video can learn and get ideas from you as well. So it's kind of like a crowdsourcing craft idea. So make sure that you're telling me in the comments what you would do with this giant XO stencil. But I'm also curious if you have tried anything like this before. So these stencils, you know, are reusable. They are sticky on the back. It's a reusable, removable, repositionable adhesive. And what I'm going to do is just put this on the window. If you're super perfectionist, you might want to actually measure and see if you can get it, you know, centered. I'm a little more like eyeball it and hope it turns out kind of person, but it's your own choice. So I'm going to just actually use this squeegee to get it on there nice and smooth. You want it nice and smooth, especially when you're working with a glass or a slick surface. So take a minute to get it on there good. And you can feel with your hand if it's not smooth. I'm not using this whole stencil. I'm just going to use part of it right now. And like I said, it's a washable thing. So, you know, if you end up doing this and not liking it or messing up, you can literally just peel it off and re-stick it. If you stand back and look at it, make sure it's centered, you can measure it, get it right where you want it to get started. The cool thing about your chalk art too is if you have a color that gets a little thick or heavy, you can add a touch of water to it to kind of reconstitute it and make the consistency a little more appropriate to get through your stencil. So don't forget that. Just because one of your paints gets thick doesn't mean it's ruined, okay? You do want to be able to push that paint through the stencil though. And if you work quickly, you're able to do a couple passes on this stencil before you need to wash it. I usually can get maybe 2 or possibly 3 passes on any stencil when I'm using like a repeat pattern stencil or one of these where I'm going to use the same stencil more than once in a project. But you got to kind of a little bit move quickly because the paint starts to dry, and it dries, which is a good thing, but it'll dry in your stencil, and then the next time you try to go make a pass at it, it won't go through the mesh as cleanly. And so sometimes that second pass is not as crisp and nice as the first one. But not to worry, you just rinse your stencil off and do it again. So I'm only going to use kind of like half of the stencil on this turn. And then I'm going to almost be done here. You can also tape off the part of the stencil that you don't want to use just so you don't accidentally get paint on it. If you know, like I don't want to get right there, I could have put painter's tape over it, and that would really help make sure that I don't mess up and paint the wrong thing. But if you do, no worries, you can clean it up. All right, so now I'm gonna pull this stencil off, and one of the things that you can do is just pull it a little bit to make sure you got the coverage you want and the crisp lines that you want. This looks great to me, so I'm happy about that. And this is gonna be so fun, you guys. All right, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna flip it. The reason I love this one, especially on glass, is that it looks the same coming and going. The O's and the X's are clearly reversible, and therefore you can have fun with this, because coming in and going out, it's going to be the same. All right, so I don't want to get this all over. I'm going to use the paper towel to kind of stick behind this part of the stencil that I don't want really getting on the glass. And then I'm just going to stick it on the doorknob up here. So just make it work for you. I want to get it really slipped down good like we did on the last one. Remember, you can stand back, make sure you're straight, make sure they're lined up the way that you want them to be. I am going to use this part of the stencil a second time, so I want to make sure that's on there really nice and good, crisp and clear. The cool thing about this idea is that you could do this on a bathroom mirror if you wanted to leave a fun little something for your special someone or your kids or something on their bathroom mirror when they wake up in the morning. You could use this with a lot of the different stencils to put Bible verses on your mirror. You can put designs, and then when you're tired of them and you're ready to change them out, you simply wash it with warm soap and water. It'll come off. I think everybody sees all those gel clings that you can put on windows, you know, at the dollar store and the holiday sections. And this is just a really more elegant, fun home decor way to do that same concept, in my opinion. This is like grown-up gel clings. And we're just gonna get right onto the edge there. And remember, if you get a little bit in the wrong spot, we'll wipe it off later. It's not a big deal. But I just wanna kind of get it as cleanly done as I can. Perfect. Wipe off that excess. Remember that you just put that excess right back into the bucket, so a little goes a long way. There's really not a lot of waste going on with this project, or really any when you're using these products, so that's a super big bonus. Let's pull it off. My thought is to do this all the way up the door, and then it's just cute Valentine's Day decor all the way up the back door. Our back door is right off our breakfast room and kitchen, so it's part of the house that we see all the time. And I think it's gonna just be kind of a fun little vignette in our house, spot to look at. So I just want to show you, like, I have a little mess up right there. Right now, while that paint's wet, I can literally wipe it off with my finger and clean it up a little bit. That's a spot where I didn't get the stencil all the way down. So if you have anything like that, just while your paint's, you know, wet, clean it up. This paint will a little bit harden as you go. As it dries, it'll get a little harder. That's what chalk paint type things do, is they harden over time. But it's still water soluble. It's still a water-based paint, and it's going to be able to just clean off with a wet rag and some warm water. You might have to do a couple passes with some warm water, but it will come off. And it also, like I said, does get a little more hard and firm, the paint does, so that it will, you know, stand up through the holiday season. So it's just a fun way to decorate a different part of your house that maybe you didn't think about, like mirrors and windows and stuff like that, your glass sections. So consider it as an option. It's so much fun. And don't forget to tag your friends for a chance to win one of these stencils as a free giveaway. That's so much fun. I hope you got some good ideas today. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me so much. It's always fun to be here on Maker Studio. Again, my name is Kim, and if you want to catch some other ideas like this at Salvaged Living, I'd love to have you there as well. Y'all have a fabulous day, and we'll see you soon.